Can 50 meters of land sustain a family of four for all 365 days of the year? It sounds impossible, but with permaculture design thinking and maximum density farming techniques, small space is no longer a barrier. In this video, I will reveal a detailed roadmap to transform 50-meter squadrad into a self-operating food supermarket, providing everything from starch sources and plant protein to 100% clean greens. Every week, I share grounded insights on organic gardening and intentional living. Hit subscribe to ensure you're getting authentic, earth-first advice you can actually trust straight to your feed. Your goal is food self-sufficiency, so you cannot plant haphazardly. The entire garden must be built around three main nutritional groups: carbohydrates for energy, protein for body maintenance, and green vegetables for micronutrient supplementation. The foundational and most important group is the carbohydrate providers, including crops such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn. These are plants capable of converting sunlight into abundant calories per the smallest unit of area. However, calculating the area ratio is a crucial factor in maintaining biodiversity and nutritional balance. For instance, with a 50-meter squared garden, you should skillfully allocate about 30% to 40% of the area, roughly 15 meter to 20 meter, to this group to ensure a basic energy source without overwhelming the space for other crops. Succeeding the role of energy provision is the legume group, including black beans, red beans, or climbing green beans. In a self-sufficient model, these serve as a precious source of plant-based protein to replace meat, helping to maintain health and physical endurance. Interestingly, legumes do not only feed humans but are also capable of regenerating the soil. Through root nodules, they have the ability to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere into the ground, helping to improve garden fertility in a completely natural and cost-free manner. Finally, there is the group of vegetables and herbs, ranging from lush green leafy vegetables and vitamin-rich carrots to aromatic spices. Although this group does not provide a massive amount of calories to sustain physical activity, it holds the key to long-term health thanks to an abundance of micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Maintaining a steady area for growing green vegetables not only makes meals more diverse and delicious, but also directly strengthens the immune system, protecting the body against external environmental impacts. The harmonious combination of these three plant groups will transform your garden into a self-operating food pantry, ensuring adequacy in both quantity and quality. Once you have selected your core plant groups, how can you arrange them scientifically on a plot of only 50 meters squared without causing overlap? Organize your cultivation space into a three-layer structure that complements one another, forming a scientifically stratified ecosystem. The perimeter of the garden acts as an enveloping green wall, where priority is given to fruit trees utilizing the espalier technique. Instead of planting too densely with up to 10 trees, which triggers resource competition, you should limit the number to between 4 and 6 healthy trees to ensure each individual absorbs maximum sunlight and soil nutrients. These trees should maintain an ideal spacing of 2 to 2.5 meters, with their canopies meticulously trained into a flat form along the fence, maximizing space savings while maintaining aesthetics and harvest efficiency. A unique feature of the espalier technique is that the entire row's thickness occupies only about 30 centimeters in width, allowing you to fully exploit the area against the wall while ensuring yield. Alongside the main canopy layer, you should interplant Queensland arrowroot. This is the garden's secret weapon. Its large foliage acts as a natural umbrella shielding leafy greens when temperatures soar. When the leaves overgrow, simply apply the chop and drop technique, chopping the leaves and placing them directly at the base to create organic mulch and on-site fertilizer, keeping the soil rich in humus without the cost of external inputs. The ground layer is the primary production area with an area ranging from 20 to 25 meters squared, organized into 4 to 6 specialized raised beds. Each bed should be designed with a width of approximately 1 meter and a length of 3 to 4 meters, allowing the gardener to easily reach every spot for weeding or fertilizing without stepping inside. To protect the soil structure from being compacted by human weight, it is essential to arrange clear pathways between beds with a minimum width of 40 to 50 centimeters, facilitating convenient movement and daily plant care. The top layer is fully utilized through a smart trellis system installed above a portion of the existing garden beds. This space is dedicated to climbing plants such as beans or cucumbers, effectively expanding the cultivation area vertically. The key when designing this trellis layer is to calculate moderate coverage, taking advantage of the overhead space without blocking all the essential light for the lower-tier plants growing beneath. This planting layout is a method for maximum density planting. I have provided a detailed guide on this method in the attached video, 127 plants in 10 square feet, maximum density growing. If you haven't watched it yet, please save it to view later. The harmonious combination of these three spatial layers not only maximizes yield, but also creates an orderly, efficient, and sustainable garden structure. So, how many plants of each type do we need to grow to sustain a family of 4? For potatoes, the ideal density should be maintained at 4 to 5 plants per square meter. Therefore, with a cultivation area of about 10 meters squared, you can plant a total of 40 to 50 plants to yield a harvest ranging from 40 to 80 kilograms of tubers per season, depending on care conditions. As for corn, its wind pollination characteristics require you to plant in square clusters, such as a 4x4 or 5x5 plant grid to ensure the highest grain set rate, with the total quantity limited to about 20 to 30 plants for the entire garden to save space, occupying only about 4 to actual area. You should absolutely never plant corn in a single long row. Since corn is wind-pollinated, planting in square clusters creates a pollen trap, ensuring every ear of corn is full of kernels from base to tip and avoiding gaps caused by pollen being blown away. Meanwhile, carrots are a crop that can be sown at a fairly high density of 80 to 120 roots per square meter, but instead of dedicating a large plot and wasting space, you should apply intercropping techniques within other vegetable beds to make the most of the surface area. Finally, for climbing beans, you only need to invest in 15 to 25 plants to fully cover an entire 2-meter-high trellis system, providing a massive amount of food without consuming too much ground space below. To save effort, choose bean varieties that can be left to dry directly on the trellis. When harvesting, instead of manually shelling each pod, simply put them all into an old pillowcase and beat it gently with a wooden stick for about 5 min. The precise impact will cause the brittle shells to detach naturally, helping you quickly collect kilograms of clean, intact beans. To maintain crop productivity without exhausting the soil, we need a strategy for time coordination and scientific crop rotation techniques. Instead of mass planting all types of crops at once, the garden should operate according to a closed and rhythmic growth cycle to maintain the balance of the soil ecosystem. For instance, immediately after finishing a potato harvest, a crop that heavily extracts nutrients, you should switch to planting legumes to leverage their natural nitrogen-fixing ability, to restore soil fertility before continuing with corn or root vegetables in the next season. To visualize this more clearly, you can divide the garden into several beds and have each bed run out of phase with one another. For example, the first bed starts with potatoes in early spring, switches to beans in the summer after harvest, and concludes with cold-tolerant vegetables in the autumn. Meanwhile, the second bed could begin with carrots or leafy greens, then transition to corn during the peak sun period, and continue with beans or brassicas to restore the soil. The remaining beds operate similarly but with staggered timing, ensuring that at any given moment there are always beds being planted, beds recovering, and beds that have just been harvested. It is this continuous rotation that prevents the soil from ever being overexploited, while simultaneously breaking the life cycle of pests since they no longer have a stable environment to thrive. In parallel with crop rotation, the surface of the soil beds must always be protected by a layer of organic mulch, such as straw or dried leaves, to maintain stable moisture and create an ideal habitat for indigenous microorganisms to develop. To optimize natural fertilizer sources, fast-growing biomass plants like canna lilies, comfrey, or sunflowers can be skillfully interplanted to be pruned for in situ mulching, helping to completely replace toxic chemical fertilizers. If you want to know how to utilize garden weeds to make natural fertilizer, check out the video 7 native weeds that create the most nutrient-dense organic compost tea that I have attached. It is precisely this circular farming method that helps the soil's internal strength become more fertile and vibrant the more it is cultivated, rather than falling into a state of resource depletion after every harvest season. A core principle of sustainable agricultural models is to strictly avoid using even a single drop of chemical pesticides to protect family health and preserve soil purity. Instead of relying on chemical interventions, you should opt for smart design to let nature operate on its own and perform the task of protecting crops. A vital element of this biological control system is a small pond cleverly positioned right in a corner of the garden. You do not need to make an expensive investment, simply repurpose an old broken water tank, or merely dig a small hole about 1 square meter in size and line the bottom with a waterproof tarp. This pond acts as a magnet, attracting natural predators such as frogs, toads, and dragonflies to take up residence. When night falls, the frogs will leave the pond to patrol every nook and cranny of the garden, silently hunting and wiping out all traces of slugs and various insects hiding under the foliage. Meanwhile, dragonflies take responsibility for controlling the population of mosquitoes and other harmful flying insects during the day. Your job is simply to maintain a clean water source and provide them with a stable home. Nature will take care of the rest without you having to lift a finger. Plants such as mint, rosemary, and lemongrass are not only grown for seasoning but are also strategically interspersed. The characteristic intense fragrance of these herbs acts as an invisible wall, disrupting the sensitive sense of smell of pests. As pests fly past, they will become disoriented and completely unable to sniff out the target vegetables located behind the herbal fence. This is a way to minimize the rate of pest attacks without affecting the natural flavor of the food. Finally, you should maximize the power of integrated chicken farming using a mobile coop model to complete the ecological loop. For a small family, you only need to raise 2 to 3 chickens in a coop with wheels or a lightweight frame that is easy to move. Immediately after you finish harvesting a vegetable bed, push the chicken coop and place it directly over that area of land. With their natural instincts, the chickens will constantly scratch the soil to find and eat every type of insect egg, larvae, and weed seed remaining underground. Simultaneously, they will deposit manure directly onto the bed, providing a natural source of organic nutrients for the soil. After a few days of being cleaned and fertilized by the chickens, that piece of land will become loose, free of pathogens, and ready for a new high-yielding crop without the need for any additional chemical fertilizers. Successful cultivation on a small plot of land is a feat. Use for year-round use is the strategy that determines the success or failure of self-sufficiency goals. High yields become meaningless if you do not know how to manage post-harvest preservation, as this is the stage where food is most vulnerable to mold and natural decomposition. If your family lacks the means to invest in expensive industrial cold storage systems, you can fully apply manual yet scientific preservation techniques to extend the shelf life of your food. First, for starchy produce such as potatoes and sweet potatoes, the skin treatment process, also known as the curing technique, is the most important. A common mistake many people make is storing produce immediately after harvesting it from the garden. Instead, you should spread them out in a cool, well-ventilated area with gentle sunlight for a continuous period of 2 weeks. This process does not simply dry the surface but also activates the plant's self-healing mechanism, helping the outer skin dry, thicken, and harden. Once treated, this skin acts as a sturdy natural protective barrier, effectively blocking the penetration of bacteria and mold from the external environment into the core of the tuber. As for carrots, the secret lies in maintaining their most natural state. After harvest, carrots must absolutely not come into contact with water or be washed, as water will strip away the natural protective layer and stimulate the rapid growth of rot-causing bacteria. You only need to use your hands or a dry cloth to brush off excess soil, then completely cut off the green leaves at the top. Removing the leaves is mandatory because if left intact, the foliage will continue its growth process by drawing water and nutrients back from the root, causing the carrot to quickly become wilted and tough. After dry preparation, place the carrots in a sealed plastic bag and keep them in the refrigerator crisper. The remaining natural moisture inside the root will be sealed within the bag, helping the carrots maintain a juicy and sweet state as if freshly picked for a period of 2 to 4 months. For longer storage, traditional methods such as burying them in moist sand or maintaining a stable low-temperature environment remain the optimal choices. In addition to preparation techniques, the arrangement of items within the storage area also determines the success of food stockpiling. One rule you must remember is never to place onions next to potatoes in the same confined space. Onions naturally and continuously release ethylene gas, an organic compound that accelerates the ripening and decomposition of plants. When placed near each other, the ethylene gas from the onions will stimulate potatoes to sprout extremely quickly, leading to mass rotting in a short time. To optimize preservation, place them in 2 opposite corners or 2 completely separate areas within the storage room. However, it should be noted that no matter how ideal the storage environment is, keeping food fresh and intact for 10 months using only raw storage methods is hardly feasible. To ensure a food supply throughout the entire year, you should proactively combine these with deep processing techniques such as drying, natural fermentation, or freezing. The flexible combination of fresh preservation and processing will create a sustainable food reserve system for the family. So, how can you accomplish all of this without burning out? You should apply the batching technique, which means managing tasks in groups. Instead of heading to the garden every day to perform small, scattered chores that waste energy, dedicate one fixed morning per week to handle all maintenance tasks. Prepare a list in advance and gather all your tools, from hose and shears to bio-preparation sprayers, at a central location. Grouping tasks this way completely eliminates downtime, making gardening much more relaxing and efficient. This principle of focus is also applied to the harvesting stage to achieve maximum productivity. Instead of digging up a few potatoes for soup today and returning to dig a few more tomorrow, you should set aside a specific day solely for harvesting and processing that entire crop. This method maximizes savings on equipment setup time and, notably, reduces the cleanup effort afterward, as all dirt and agricultural waste are handled neatly in a single go. Achieving food self-sufficiency for a family of 4 on 50 square meters is not unrealistic if you apply scientific calculations. By combining vertical farming mindsets with the espalier technique and prioritizing high-yield, easy-to-store crops such as potatoes or beans, you can optimize your year-round supply of energy and nutrients. Hopefully, this method will help you realize your dream of food freedom right within your modest living space. Start today with all your heart for the peace of mind and health of your family. Thank you for watching the entire video. If you found this useful, please share it with those around you. See you in the next video.